Thank you very much. Could you please remain standing as I invite Joycelyn to lead us in a word of prayer.
To bless our proceedings, Father, I ask you to open the minds so that we can all understand, Lord, and help us, Father, to be strong people, faithful people, fearless people, always, Lord, recognizing, as our political leader does, that you are in charge. We give you all the honor and all the glory in Jesus' mighty name.
Thank you very much, Joycelyn, and have yourself a happy birthday. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start our Sunday Live from the United Workers' Party, and I want to say a special welcome to all of you. I would like to greet the political leader, the party chairman, deputy political leader, and all other officials of the United Workers' Party, and you, ladies and gentlemen, who are here present. And I also want to greet those who are listening to us and following us on live stream. We have for you a fun-filled, packed program tonight. When I say fun-filled, we have to add some fun to it because things are so bad in this country. I just got some news a while ago that things are so bad in St. Lucia. We heard from the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association how bad it is in health. We know how bad it is with cost of living. We hear from the police how bad it is with crime. And I just heard that they're planning to close down Bodily and send all prisoners home. That's how bad it is. But ladies and gentlemen, before I call on my first speaker, let me just inform you that the United Workers' Party is on the move. This afternoon, the United Workers' Party were in a couple communities here in Babonneau, and I understood that one of the communities was Laguerre. So I am coming from Grosile to Babonneau, passed through Moshi, and I'm coming through Laguerre. By the time I got to Laguerre, they had moved to Paybush, but I saw Virginia standing by the road in Laguerre. So I thought to myself, but you mean Flambeau had to bring you out? But if she's still in Laguerre, tell Virginia I say, while she in Laguerre, pass by the playing field to see the condition of it. Because when the United Workers' Party was in office, we had a real playing field in Laguerre. I must confess that I smiled when I saw the playing field, because I have a few skinny goats with all their ribs out in Malse, and I'm planning tomorrow to bring them on that field. I'm sure by the end of the day they will be fat. That's how bad it is with our government of St. Lucia. But the Flambeau train is on the move, and we are building momentum. And let me remind the St. Lucia Labour Party that nothing can stand in the way of momentum. And so they have made an announcement because they got the message. St. Lucians have given the St. Lucia Labour Party government their marching orders, so they're going to begin to march on the 25th of August. But I want you to send another message to them, so that when they begin to march, since they got their marching orders from us already, when they begin to march, keep going. We don't want them back. But ladies and gentlemen, there is hope in this country. The light of the Flambeau has always provided you with hope, and we're going to continue to do it. When St. Lucia was in crisis in the past, you turned to the United Workers' Party and we delivered. What we have done, we can do again. The United Workers' Party stands ready to rescue this country and save St. Lucia from the malaise that we're suffering under the St. Lucia Labour Party. So, ladies and gentlemen, my first speaker will be from the Babonneau community, who will come to give you a little word of welcome, because when I said my welcome, I realized it wasn't warm enough. It wasn't a Babonneau welcome. So we'll bring someone to give you a Babonneau welcome and to say a few words to you about Babonneau. I already told you about the Laguerre field. So ladies and gentlemen, a young man who has been a voice for the United Workers' Party, because I hear him on the talk shows on a regular basis, a stalwart of the party, and one of those who is doing battle with us. I would like to introduce to the podium, I call him a young man, never mind the white beard, I'm older than him. I would like to call on Shoan Aubertin to address you, ladies.
So come Friday, right around the Printry from by Parliament, coming across onto Jeremy Street, that area will be deemed a no vending zone. I call on all vendors who currently occupy that area to dismantle whatever pieces of steel.
Adopt the protocol that has already been established by Spider. I'd like to welcome you to the constituency of Babonneau, where we have fresh Atlantic breeze that blows throughout our community and keeps us cool.
Of course.
And I'm saying to you that while you're in Babonneau, you will not see the best of Babonneau these days. Babonneau had been a lot better than what it is today.
Yeah.
Under Ezekiel Joseph, we saw Babonneau to be blooming and the farmers were happy and everybody in the constituent was happy. But these days, you see a lot of sad faces all over the place. Never mind that, we'll bring back everybody smiling. So welcome to the constituent of Babonneau. People, we have serious issues in Babonneau. I heard Spider speak about our playing fields. And there's one particular playing field in Lage. This playing field, almost $700,000 is spent on it by Shoan Edward. Ezekiel Joseph came into office. We had the lights shut down. He restored it. The field, you had activities going on in that field while Ezekiel was there. Couple days after elections, they had a tournament still going on that was a continuation. Today, if you go there, all they do, they cut the grass in the pavilion area, and on the outside, on the field itself, you can't go inside there, you cannot walk, grass is waist height. I mean, we're a sporting community. We have a lot of sporting activities that could have gone on in this area or used to go on in this area. We also have the Debara playing field, where every Easter we used to host a cricket tournament. We had endless tournaments going on in that area. Nothing is happening. We have the Foasso playing field, which is considered to be a football ground. The very same in Foasso. The only one that is a little something happening going on is the one in Balata. And I can say Balata is happening because it's a joint venture between Babonneau and Stevenson King. So maybe because of the little Flambeau that he remained, the little Flambeau that he had, that's why we've seen a little something going on there. But I'm telling you, sports is dead in Babonneau. I'm thankful that Ezekiel built or enlarged the cemetery in Babonneau because we might have to bury sports in that cemetery very soon. We have the Talvan development. It was considered to be something that was done illegal. I know for a fact I was on the DCA board at the time, where all the approvals for that development went through us. So Richard Frederick said there was no approval by DCA. I was on the DCA board at that time. We approved everything for that development. Richard Frederick stopped it. A few days later, they came to Babonneau, unknown to most of us in Babonneau, and they awarded a new contract to the very same contractor. Now the big question is, did we baptize Fresh Start again? Because so much was said about Fresh Start. Fresh Start, they were thieves. They did contracts that didn't have anything going on, no approvals by DCA. But today, the very same contract has come back to Fresh Start to build. Now, I'm not bashing on Fresh Start. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying the Labour Party seemed to have a change of heart, but guess who's going to pay for it? All those persons who had already put their name for those plots, now it is a lot more expensive for us to buy. So, when you would come there and buy it at $8, $9 a square foot, now you have to look for more than $14 a square foot. So the economy is not even producing anything. And yet still we have to look for more money to go and buy this very same land we could have already been paying for about 3 years now. Where does that put us as a people in Babonneau? and we expect to support that very same party to come back and tell us they'll do good for us. Virginia came on platform and she said to y'all that when she wins elections, she will not sell it to y'all at $7. She'll sell it to you at $3 and $4. Y'all remember that? But y'all didn't realize that she was only saying that it's $14 and $15. So these bluffs that they've been coming through in our constituent with, do we still sit and listen to them? Do we still have time to listen to them? They had a 3-year celebration inside this hall there. Ask them what they were celebrating, they couldn't even say. Because they knew for sure they did nothing in our constituent. And they have done nothing to come and celebrate in Babonneau. We have our roads, they're in a deplorable condition. We have our farmers, the same farmers that did not support Mr. Joseph. Today they're telling you that the Maki roads, they want to see it finished. They have so many projects that are undone in the constituent and nobody says nothing about them. People, we need to come out. We need to get our rep on guard and tell her there are so many projects that had already been started. We need her to complete it. And we don't want her to complete it for us to vote for her, you know. Because those monies were already allocated for, we need her to spend it in the right areas and not, look at the multipurpose center. Look at the walls they've put up in the multipurpose center. 10 contractors have worked in front of the multipurpose center, building walls all around the multipurpose center. Is that what we voted for? The small playing field by the school, a wall was erected with a fence. What's the purpose of that? What is the plan for that field? I mean, we need to ask questions. We need to find out what's going on. We cannot just take it for granted that they're doing these things and we don't know what's happening in our constituency. We have our schools. This year for the summer holidays, no schools are being renovated in Babonneau, or if any, very little. I mean, we used to see works happening in our schools every summer, and it's not happening at all again. More money was put in the Ministry of Education. Are we seeing those monies upgrading our facility, our education facilities? No. People, we need to stand up in Babonneau. We need to start making the noises. And we're not making noise some noise sake. We're saying what is affecting us, and we need to bring it to Virginia so she can understand. As we went walking through the constituent, you could see the number of disgruntled persons. You speak to them, you hear. And I'm happy it was not only us from the constituent that went there. Because if I were to report and say, this is what we found out on our journey, you guys would say, well, maybe we're just saying that because we're being biased. Some of you from outside, you all came and you all heard what the people are saying in the constituency. So I must say that Babonneau is one of the constituencies that has been neglected the worst. Babonneau has always been a leader. We have always been in the forefront of things. And today, we seem to be followers and we seem to be way at the back of the train. We have a leader who does not even pass in the community, and if when she passes, her glass is up. I mean, how many of you all know Virginia now? How many of you all have seen Virginia now? She doesn't stop and say anything to you all. She used to come to church. I have not even seen her by the church. People, we need to make noises, and we need to make a lot of noise and let them know we're very disgruntled and we're waiting anxiously for when that bell ring for us to show them what we're made of. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shoan. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause. We learned quite a bit about Babonneau today. Imagine they expanded the cemetery to accommodate more dead people, but they're going to have to bury spots in the cemetery. But by the way, while I was seated there, I got a message. Someone said, I just heard you say you're going to bring your goods tomorrow. If you bring your goods, be careful. You might not be able to find them when you're ready to get them. The grass is so tall, so much bush. That is the state of affairs in our country. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a government celebrating 3 years of failure. But I want to remind you that this year, the United Workers' Party is celebrating 60 years of success, prosperity, and development for St. Lucia. That is what we are about. Now, you know, things are so bad in St. Lucia, and I'm happy now that St. Lucians are beginning to voice their feelings and their opinion. I see Leo Clark going around the island begging people, please tell your friends, come out and march, and so on. When the real march is going to take place, we will not have to be begging people to come out, because it is the people that are calling for that march. You know? And so, you know, talking about people talking, people coming out and voicing their opinion. They abuse those who do it, but we are no longer intimidated by the St. Lucia Labour Party. We will stand up and we will talk. And so, when Richard Frederick attacks the president of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, I want him to know that people have just begun to voice their feelings about their failures. You know? Because, you know what has happened? For a long time now, things were so bad at the hospitals. And when we say it, people think it is just politics. But now you hear it from the practitioners, the health practitioners, the people who are there firsthand. They are telling you how bad it is. There is well, many of the professionals are leaving because of the conditions. You cannot get a bed when someone is sick. Things are so bad there that the only medication you could have gotten at the pharmacy, at any of the health facilities in St. Lucia is Mumu tablets. That's why people wasn't talking. That's why people wasn't talking. But you know what? They run out of all medication now. No more Mumu tablets. People talking now. And so, we are here to bring out the truth to you, not bluff. Because they try to bamboozle you and tell you all what they have done. Imagine I hear Pip. You know, that's so shameful. That's so pathetic. The man is our prime minister. It embarrasses me. Pip is trying to say to you, under Labour, you're getting nothing. But if you think you're getting nothing, if you take out Labour, it will get worse. It can't get worse. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. I mean, the man never did maths at school. You're the mommy says an accountant. Okay? He can do a whole sentence, I can do 2 words. You know? I mean, and your calculation's still off. He said he's admitting that his people are complaining that they're getting nothing. But if they think they're getting nothing, wait until UWP. It can't get worse than it is, my friends. It cannot get worse. And UWP just does not know how to make it worse. We can only make it better. And that is why I stand with the UWP, and I'm proud to be a UWP. And when I look at the team, that is taking shape, I have to tell you, that will be the most formidable cabinet that St. Lucia have ever seen. And what I like most about it is the mixture that I'm seeing taking shape. The young, the females, the middle-aged, and I want to say older, the senior and more experienced. And that is what? And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, don't be disappointed, don't be disheartened. Some of us have made room for new and better talent to take over. And that is what is happening. A party that can rejuvenate itself, that can continue to improve, is the party you're supposed to support for the progress of this country. So now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the people at the helm who is keeping it together, organizing while we go forward in this fight, is none other than the chairman of the party. I want you to give a round of applause to Mr. Therold Prudent.
The only people that are scared right now is the St. Lucia Labour Party. Ma connaît yon Flambeau qui perd en élection à présent. Because nous voulons, we want it. And my Flambeau. That's right. First of all, I want to thank each and every one of you who participated in the chairman's drive this afternoon. Our presence was felt on the ground. We were able to articulate our position to those we met, and we were also able, through our presence, offer hope to the hopeless out there that the United Workers' Party is on its way back to government. And folks, what you see, we began here this afternoon by spanning out through Paybush, through Laguerre, through Plateau, and all of those sub-areas of Babonneau. That fight has just begun, because we have to take this fight to the St. Lucia Labour Party. Folks, We are going to transform St. Lucia one community at a time. And that's what we did tonight, to plant that seed of change, which is what's going to continue to happen. So we saw Virginia today. She looked a bit nervous. That's okay. It's natural to be nervous. Lord, where Flambeau, only where Shimi's Woosh just can't move to part 2. You have to be nervous. But I'm saying, if you are representing the people of Babonneau the way you should represent them, there is no need for you to be nervous. Am I right or wrong? That's right. Folks, we have a lot of work to do in the party. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I don't want you to believe that without work and organization and the commitment to bring about that change, we are going to win. I have always said that the Labour Party is never going to roll over and give us the seat of government. It will take you, it will take me, all of us together, united together, to be able to remove this government from the seat of power. And I'm saying to you all, it is almost there. But what it needs from us is for us to remain focused, for us to remain resilient as supporters of the UWP, for us to start being unselfish. You hear me? On starting to be unselfish, putting the interests of the United Workers' Party before your own interests. And once we begin to understand that the party is bigger than any one of us, and once we begin to understand that UWP should not be taken for granted, because this is the only salvation to remove this Labour Party off the backs of the people of this country. In religion, we talk about salvation. In religion, we talk about salvation and redemption. But I say to you tonight, to all of our people here in St. Lucia, and all of those in the diaspora, redemption and salvation is on its way. Folks, I want to say something to you tonight. We must begin and continue, I should say, our membership drive. Our membership drive cannot be 1 or 2 persons that you bring in. Every single one of you should be able to recruit 25 persons to join the United Workers' Party. 25 persons to join the UWP. Because the more hands we have on board, is the less our task is in removing this government off our backs. I said to you this evening, Labour Party said that they are putting us first. Well, as for us, nous pensons, because they will vote Flambeau. Once you vote Flambeau, you're not in that. So Labour Party, when they talk about putting people first, they're talking about their people. But even their people can never be placed first. Because there's a difference between what we do as UWP and what Labour does. Labour gives you, if you need $1 to be able to be free of poverty, the Labour Party will continue to give you a penny and control your vote, and you will die in poverty. Under a United Workers' Party government, we do not behave this way. We've never behaved this way. Under a UWP government, we give you opportunity to free yourself from the poverty here in this country. And I want to say to you this evening, I challenge each and every one of you, put Alan Chastanet back at the helm of your government. Put Alan Chastanet back at the helm of your government. Because sous te mette Alan Chastanet at the helm of your government, you wouldn't be crying the way you're crying today. You talk about healthcare. If you had put Alan Chastanet at the helm of your government, you would have had a $75,000 insurance for every family here in this country. And today, you want to play with raffle? You want to play with barbecue? When you were given the opportunity to do the right thing by your families. Folks, we cannot retreat. We cannot go to sleep anymore. Labor must go. Labor must go. Labor must go. They have to go. They have to go. And it's not just about talking. It's not just about saying labor have to go. We have to ensure that labor is gone. Folks, I'll say to you, on the United Workers' Party from 1964, we built this country. We built all of the infrastructure in this country. All of the schools, most of the schools were constructed by a United Workers' Party government. We brought water and pipe-borne water and electricity to every community in St. Lucia. Folks, what happened? How did we get to where we are today? How can a party take you there and you allow labor to take you backwards? Take you backwards. But the thing about it is, we are the champions of putting people first. And we have been doing this for the last 60 years. A UWP has always placed the interests of the people of St. Lucia first. Are you in agreement with me? That's right. So we don't have to put that in any manifesto. Job new, our accomplishment is here for everybody to see. And I challenge them, when it comes to development, when it comes to education, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to giving people work in this country, don't play with UWP because we know what we're doing. Don't play with the United Workers' Party because we know exactly what we are doing. Folks, it wasn't very long ago that we had bananas here in this country. You in Babonneau who were farmers, you were able to send your children to school, to universities, and to put bread on your table. Hodiapa même un fig ou savan. Esmamati. Where is the market? Where is the market for our banana production? I want to promise you, under a United Workers' Party government, hope is there. You will be able to dream large as a people. You will be able to dream large as citizens of this country. And I want to say to them one thing, and I'll say it again tonight. We've never been the party of victimization. Mekusala, Flambeau can take care of only of our own. United Workers' Party is going to take care of its own. We cannot fight so hard, work so hard, and there is nothing to show for it at the end of the day. The Labour Party is skillful in what they do. Le yo gwenye tout moun ka manje. Mais c'est pas tout moun non, tout moun qui te là et puis yo. Because pan bas c'est malheureux. Ek malheureux pa ka jwen rien. But under a United Workers' Party government, not only will it will be trickling down, it will trickle down past only supporters of the United Workers' Party to every single St. Lucian, so they can live and work here in this country. Folks, I don't want to be long. I never am a lengthy speaker, but I will say tonight that the Labour Party has failed. Am I right? The Labour Party has failed. Am I right or wrong? And if they are sick and if they are failed, it's time to mene yo l'hôpital. L'hôpital. Mais l'hôpital là, nous ka mener yo pas même l'hôpital là qui bon assez because l'hôpital pas qu'à travailler. Nous pas l'hôpital ici. We have no health care in this country. When you are sick and you have to go to a hospital and to find yourself for 4 days, no one has attended to you. They have to bring water. People on the outside have to bring water for you to drink. You think you have hospital? Where is the health care? You ever saw that happen on the island Chastanet? Folks, I'll say to you something tonight. I work with this man who is over there, our political leader. And I have never seen a gentleman who is more focused on progress and development in all of my life. Stand up and give him a round of applause, please. Stand up and give him a round of applause. This is our Moses. This is our Moses. This is our Moses. This is the Moses that's going to take St. Lucia from the desert and the wilderness to the promised land. And I promise you, when Alan Chastanet gets there, he'll take all of us up there with him. Tonight, I want to say to you, my friends, I want to say to you, my brothers and sisters, let us treat each other with respect. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in this party. And it will take more than TP, Spider, Alan, Guy, Dominic, Janine, Nancy, the whole crew. It will embrace, we all need to embrace this vision for change. Because if we cannot embrace this vision for change, Kwapo smoking our pipe. And tonight, I leave you with the hope that the people you elected on your executive body to do the work for you, we are working in your interests. We are working in your interests. And because we are working in your interests, we will always ensure that the decisions we make are decisions that you will benefit from. And so I leave with you today this message of hope, this message of love, this message of unity. And I want you to say, hip, 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 hip. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You heard me, ladies and gentlemen, telling you like it is. And again, I heard, you know, the bluff of the St. Lucia Labour Party, I must say it worked on St. Lucians in 2021. But I keep reminding them that you can fool some of the people. When people fool us, don't know, Alan Chastanet was the minister responsible for CIP under UWP. You didn't hear his name being mentioned in RICO case in the United States. Okay? It is the labor rights that they brought to court. So deal with that and stop trying to bluff St. Lucians to make them believe UWP is responsible for that. Let me tell you, sir, what UWP is responsible for. The progress and development of this country. When this pandemic that nobody saw coming and the world was in crisis, I was proud as a St. Lucian, just as I was a couple weeks ago, when they said that St. Lucia is among the... I want to remind you that same Alan Chastanet that they can't stop mentioning. He COVID crisis, and there were only about 80 deaths in St. Lucia. St. Lucians made the mistake of putting a Labour Party government. As soon as they come in, more than 400 St. Lucians died of COVID. That is the difference. That is the difference, and that's why they have to go. And they talk about putting people first. I mean, I did my research, and there are people that they put first, but it's not you, the average St. Lucian. And sorry to say to a lot of the Labour Party supporters, it's not you either. You want to know who they put first? Go on your TV and watch the Olympics. The people you see sitting in the private boxes, they are the people that they put first. They are the people that they put first. The person who is going around the country running and begging people to come and march to keep the Labour Party there, he is one of the people they put in first, Leo Clark. These are the people that they put first, not you. Not you. Because if they were putting you first, they would care about your situation at the hospital. They would be concerned about how many citizens are dying. Whenever we have anything, internet ain't working, all kind of problems, but nothing will stop the progress of the United Workers' Party. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as I get ready to call on my next speaker, I suspect he will touch on the CIP as well. But I just needed to say that this Prime Minister is so shameless that he wants to blame the UWP for what is happening today. Well, if the UWP is responsible, give them the responsibility and you'll see the difference. Because when we handled CIP, there was no scandal. There was no scandal. And you St. Lucians got a report on CIP every year that was laid before the Parliament for you to know what is going on. Let me remind Philip here that what he has to tell Ernest is if there is nothing to hide, do what the law says that he has to do. Table the report in Parliament so that St. Lucians can know what is going on in that CIP. And so, ladies and gentlemen, while we continue to ask the question, WTF, while we continue to ask the question, WTF, and they continue to complain and blame, because when we give you a responsibility, we expect you to take the responsibility and carry out the responsibility. Don't blame others for your responsibility. And so I want to call on a gentleman who took up the responsibility during our tenure in office for one of our main industries, and he performed with flying colors. And it was not only Alan Chastanet who believed that tourism could get back to where it was in the aftermath of COVID-19. He also believed that, and he worked with our government to ensure that it was brought back and it is where it is today that they are enjoying now. So ladies and gentlemen, a little giant from but before, let me just make a public announcement. The driver of PM 757, I hope it's not PM 757, please remove your car, you are blocking some people. So, I was saying, we have a little giant in our midst who is getting ready to do battle once again. And when you see the development that has taken place in ancillary, and the disgrace that is happening now where ancillary is at a standstill, Shoan told you that Babonneau is in reverse. Ancillary is also in reverse. But we're going to bring back development to ancillary countries. We're going to bring the tourist industry to where it ought to be. And we're going to bring back this little giant to represent us once again as part of the cabinet of the United Workers' Party. I call on stage now the next representative for ancillary countries, the deputy political leader of the United Workers' Party, Senator Dominic Fedee.
Mamai Flambeau! Mamai Babonneau! I just want to start today by recognizing our hardworking chairman. And I want to today thank him for taking the initiative for bringing the United Workers' Party back on the ground. I want to thank the Babonneau constituency branch and all of you from all parts of St. Lucia that joined that effort today. You made a lot of people afraid. Now, based on the energy I saw today, by 2 o'clock on election day, we will be able to call it, for Babonneau will be one of the first seats that will fall back into the United Workers' Party column. That's at 2 o'clock. And by 2:05, the ancillary cannery seat will be the next seat that's falling back into the United Workers' Party column. I want to recognize my chairperson, Mr. Andre Lancico, and a lot of stalwarts from ancillary canneries that have been following the Flambeau train in the east, in the west, in the north, in the south. Please pick them up. The hard-working UWP supporters of ancillary canneries. Thank you guys for your support. Mamai Flambeau, the St. Lucia Labour Party was hoping that you would get distracted when they had carnival. They were hoping that with emancipation that they can distract you. They were hoping that by telling you that Alan Chastanet is trying to destroy St. Lucia, that they would get us off topic. I want to say to Ernest and to Philip and the whole gang of the Labour Party government that the United Workers' Party will continue to ask for answers. We will continue to ask the hard questions pertaining to the running of this country. So whether it be on the national lotteries, whether it be on crime fighting, whether it be on the management of the healthcare situation in the country, and whether it be on the CIP program, we have one question: where is the money? And Mamai Flambeau, we will not stop asking that question until we find our money, until they account for our money. We remain focused and resolute because the money does not belong to them. It belongs to you, the people of St. Lucia. So, Alan Chastanet, being the visionary leader that he is, and I remember many a times I used to say, PM, why is it that Dominica was selling all of these passports? Sometimes in a year they did 100 million in revenue. And we in St. Lucia, we would do maybe 10% of that. He said, Dominic, I am not after the money. I am after a program that is clean, that I can be proud of, that I can say to the people of St. Lucia that we have done right by your passport. We have done right by running your business. And so he said, this race in the CIP is not for the swiftest, but it is for those countries that can endure to the end. And so when I saw this last week that Dominica had revoked 68 citizens because they found out that the due diligence was not done properly,
And so 68 citizens so far have gone through the cracks with fraud. I remember those words from a wise prime minister. When I saw that Bank of America stopped doing transactions in the CIP program to Dominica, and I think, oh my God, just imagine that Dominicans can also lose their ability to buy stuff online. All of you that buying stuff with Shopbox and West Tech, you know Christmas coming, you might buy some wig, some false hair, you might buy stuff, you know, if you have a date, that kind of stuff, just to look slick, buy some nails, go on Shein and get some shopping done. Just imagine that Dominicans are on the brink of losing that privilege that you take for granted. And when I see in Dominica that the citizens there now need a passport to travel, not a passport, but a visa to travel to the United Kingdom, I remember the wise words of Alan Chastanet, our great leader. I remember him saying, Dominic, that we must be disciplined, that we must be structured, that we must be patient, that we must make sure that we do the checks and balances. And no matter how long it takes, no matter how the people in the marketplace complain that St. Lucia has the slowest CIP program, he said, Dominic, we have the best run CIP program. Which is why today that you're seeing all the court cases and all the allegations of fraud about the St. Lucia CIP program. But after being in government for 3 years, the St. Lucia Labour Party cannot lift a finger and point a finger at Alan Chastanet to say that he was corrupt in running the CIP. And the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance had direct responsibility for the CIP. Because there is a very strong relationship between your financial laws and the laws of the CIP, so that the CIP could be properly run, so that your passport is protected, so that your image is protected, so that the dignity of the country is protected. But with the Labour Party, we negotiated with Galaxy that they should have 700 passports, 700 families that they can sell to. We felt that it is wrong to have someone to come in and just get our passports and bastardize our passports and just use our passports to build a hotel. Alan Chastanet said, I'm looking for a true partnership. He said, the people of St. Lucia will help you to fund the CIP program, your development at Canals, the hotel, by 60% of the cost. But he said, I need you, the company, to go and apply for a loan from a bank and ask that bank to lend you the money so that you are putting in something and St. Lucia is putting in something. Alan Chastanet refused to allow any investor to exploit the people of St. Lucia or their passports. And that was the difference in the leadership and the management of the CIP program under the United Workers' Party. And so while they are trying to distract us, while Richard is sending all these abuse on social media, and his abuse has no boundaries. It's not just the politicians like me and Spider and Guy. He's also sending abuses and abusing people within the health sector we saw this week. Regardless of who you are, a member of civil society, you could be a vendor, he abuse you. It could be anybody that rise up and speak to uphold our democracy. Richard Frederick and the St. Lucia Labour Party has tried their best to intimidate those people. And Mamai Flambeau, we must show them our true mettle. We must show them that we are not afraid. We must show them that we will continue to ask for the questions. And we are looking for the answers. And we demand to know all of the business concerning the CIP program and other initiatives. And so they came in and they changed a deal that was well structured by a great leader. And they said that they're going to move from 700 families to allow Galaxy to sell passports to as many as 6,000 families. It means that in every family application that you could have potentially 4 passports per family. At 6,000 families, it means we're talking about 24,000 passports for the hotel. Now, that is a lot of money. That is an incredible amount of money. The hotel was supposed to cost $350 million. Now, why would you allow a developer to raise as much as $1.2 billion in revenue? Why would you make a deal so bad that you will allow the developer to make at least $750 million extra on the passports of the people of St. Lucia, putting your visa-free access to the UK, to the EU at risk, putting your ability to use your credit card and trade internationally and send money and receive money from Western Union, and putting all of that at risk because you want a company to make money. Mamai Flambeau, does it make sense that if the hotel costs $350 million, that the company should make in excess of $750 million in profits? Does that make sense to you, Mamai Flambeau? If I was running your business and you were my boss, I am sure, Mamai Flambeau, that you will fire me. And so we must demand the resignation of Ernest Hilaire, because that is the worst deal of the century. And when we see those things happen, we have to ask ourselves, who is benefiting? Who is getting a kickback? Who is getting paid? Why is it that something that makes sense to the average St. Lucian is being prostituted in the way that they are? Now, if that wasn't bad enough, they went and they said that, look, we need to give Galaxy another deal. So on top of the hotel deal, they said we want Galaxy to also be the main financier for the year of infrastructure. And they announced in their budget that this year will be the year of infrastructure. So they're not saying anymore that it's raining, that they cannot do roads, because you, the people of St. Lucia, have told them that you are not impressed with their excuses. You are not impressed with the way that they have managed the infrastructure. So now they say that Galaxy will put $100 million up front. And they told us that that money will be used for the year of infrastructure. Mamai Flambeau, they said that the year of infrastructure funds were launched in the month of March. We are now in August, and we still see the roads in this country in a state of disrepair. We still see potholes and swimming pools everywhere in this country. People are driving, your cars are being destroyed. We want to know, has Galaxy paid the $100 million that the minister of CIP told us when he addressed the nation that he had to put up front? We want to know, Hilaire, we want to know, have you received the $100 million? Or is the money still stuck overseas? When was the last time you spoke to Galaxy? Are they hiding? Are they on the run because of this case? My information is that the people that are trying to sue Galaxy cannot find Galaxy and cannot find the CEO Lescan. So we want to know now, where is Galaxy? Where is Lescan? Where is our money? Is our money coming back to St. Lucia? We demand to know now. So, Mamai Flambeau, this is the saddest state that our country has ever been. This is worse than the UN scandal. And it's disappointing that Philip J. Pierre would accuse our leader, a man that loves this country so much, a man that could have been a citizen anywhere in the world, that when he became a senator, he gave up his US citizenship so that he can give public life to St. Lucia and serve St. Lucia. Now Philip says to us that the same Alan Chastanet, who started jazz 30-something years ago, who served as director of tourism for a salary that was lower than he could have gotten overseas, who came and took a measly salary as a minister of tourism rather than going and work in his father's companies, a man that has sacrificed so much. You are trying to tell me that this man, all because he's looking for answers that you don't want to give, you want to tell the people that he is destroying St. Lucia. Now, Mama Flambeau, I will tell you what Alan Chastanet and the United Workers' Party wants to destroy. We want to destroy the corruption in this country. We want to destroy the friends, the families, and the comrades of the labor parties who have a cabal and everything goes to them. We want to destroy nepotism in this country. We want to destroy the lack of management of healthcare. We want to destroy the threat that threatens our visa-free access. We want to destroy the threat that affects our ability to do banking online. That's what we want to destroy. That's what we want to eliminate from this country. And so we will not be afraid. We will not be sidetracked. We will not be distracted. We continue to ask for evidence. Now, the biggest one that I thought is the biggest episode in this scandal is that the company that is appointed to do the background checks for all of Galaxy's files, we are now being told that this company is owned by one of Galaxy's employees. So look at this, Mama Flambeau. You hire me to be the security guard for a program, but yet I am one of your employees. Whose benefit do you believe I will have? Whose back do you believe I will have? I want the minister, the CEO of the CIP, and the Prime Minister to explain to the public whether this allegation is true. How can an employee of Galaxy be the owner of the same company that does the background checks for Galaxy passports as they are processed? And so we demand to know that now. Now, as this allegation was floated, we see that Galaxy have wiped all of their websites. All of their websites. Why did you clean up the website? Why did you remove who the directors are? Why don't you come to St. Lucia and face the press and do a press conference and explain to the people of St. Lucia? Try to clear your name so that we can all feel some level of assurity. But you see, when people have things to hide, when people have things to hide, Mama Flambeau, when people have things to hide, they will be afraid to tell you how much money is in their bank account. They will be afraid to show you all the CIP transactions. They will befriend a minister who will say that he needs to get permission from the company to give you, the people, information regarding your own citizenship. And so this is where we are today with the CIP program. This is the scandal of the century, where the government is in St. Lucia, appears to be in cahoots with Galaxy, and they are ripping all of us back. But Mama Flambeau, we still have to ask them, who is the chairman of CIP? Has the chairman now resigned, or has he not resigned? You see, when I was minister, I ran many statutory bodies. There was the tourist board, there was village tourism, and at every point, when I appointed a chairman with the help and the input of the cabinet that I was working with, I had to know whether my chairman is on or he's not on, whether he's in or he's out. So how can the minister, in response to questions asked about whether the chairman has resigned, say to the journalists, well, you will have to ask the chairman whether he has resigned or not? Mama Flambeau, it is clear that they have something to hide. What does Hilaire have to hide? You cannot tell us whether the chairman has resigned. You cannot tell us whether how many passports or how many families you have allowed Galaxy to sell. You cannot give us all the information we've been asking you for about the CIP program. But you have the gall to go and boast about tourism growth. And as I close, I want to really focus a bit about this tourism growth. So Hilaire says to us that he is so proud that St. Lucia has surpassed 2019 by 5%. I want to say to Hilaire this. My friend, you are late. There are 11 destinations in the Caribbean since last year have already surpassed their 2019 pre-COVID figures. And so what is very disturbing about your record is that you have spent over $100 million and you've only been able to bring in 90,000 passengers. So let me show you what has happened. You've borrowed $80 million to host the World Cup. You've spent $10 million on jazz. You gave ICC and West Indies Cricket Board several millions in taxes. You have gone further and you have spent quite a few million on Carnival. Now I support all those things. And all those things are great for the country, great for the people, great for small businesses. But you cannot boast about a measly 5% growth when you spend $100 million US, $100 million in growth, which is 3 times the annual budget of the St. Lucia Tourism Authority. And so if I had to grade what you have done, I would grade you from a tourism management perspective, a big F. You are a complete failure in the management of tourism, and you need to step aside and bring a real government to manage the affairs of the industry. So, Mamai Flambeau, this is the most important election of our time. Crime is bad. Healthcare is the worst it has been. Agriculture is down. Cost of living is high. The roads are bad. Mamai Flambeau, I want to say to you, in light of all this, you need to buckle your belt, strap your boots, and get ready for the battle. It is coming soon. We need to organize each constituency. We need to march in the east and in the west and in the south. We need to organize ourselves. We need to comb those voters lists so that they don't cheat us. And we need to ensure that we get Alan Chastanet and the United Workers' Party re-elected and put St. Lucia in a place where the true potential of our country can be realized as one people, one nation with a common destiny. Mamai Flambeau, I thank you.
Thank you very much, our Deputy Political Leader, Senator Dominic Fedee, who was telling it to you, explaining the situation with the CIP. And like he told you, Pip is saying that we are praying for you to lose the correspondent banking and the use of your cards, your credit cards. But we are saying that if they don't stop what they're doing, that is what is going to happen to us. But I am saying if they don't stop what they're doing, we are going to stop them come election day. Now I heard Dominic in talking about CIP was explaining the program and how, in Dominica they revoked 68 passports because they undersold those passports, and there were questions about the individuals who got those passports. That is because proper due diligence was not done. And all we are saying to this government, if they don't carry out the proper due diligence, when the United Workers' Party comes back in, they are going to revoke all of those passports. And I know they can do proper due diligence. I know they can do proper due diligence because they just carried out their due diligence on Richard Frederick and they refuse to accept him as a member. The Richard Frederick Mwedi is so hot for you to be coming and begging the Labour Party. PM, 7 months I sent my application. Up to now, he does. Labour Pavlou, Flambeau Pavlou. And the bigger news, Castries Central Pavlou Nopli. He is on his way out. He is on his way out. Let Richard Frederick know he has come to the end of his rope. All his grand charge and big talk, that has come to an end. He is on his way out. We kicked him out, they picked him up, used him, and now they're going to dump him. Let me see you run. Let me see you run as a genuine independent and lose your deposit. Bugwen. Pierson Pavlo Richard, you are nobody's child. PM, please. PM. But I'll tell you something. I'm close friends with Dominic Fedee. I'm close friends with Guy Joseph. I'm close friends with Alan Chastanet. When we meet and we are on our social moments, I say Dom, I say Guy, I say Alan. But in an official forum, I give them their due respect. Senator Dominic Fedee, the Honorable Alan Chastanet, for now, soon to be Honorable Guy Joseph, Ukavini, PJP, my boy. Mrs. Betis, you know. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to bring back decorum and respect to government when the United Workers' Party returns. And all the bluff will be over. Because when we say it to you, we mean it. And what we tell you, we deliver. All the bluffs that they made and they cannot deliver, now they plead into the people. They plead into people to come out. Now, a question was asked of an audience like you in a Labour Party function. And I will tell you, I was embarrassed when I heard the speaker, who is Leo Clark, asking, are you ready to come out and march? I had one person say, yeah. Probably I had no more energy than the person. Yeah. Leo, uba realize, say muna kakite machua by say muna orga me fusla. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. And if I get an answer like what Leo Clark got, I'm gone. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to bring back Flambeau? Ebe Balfini Vielon Sac. Ladies and gentlemen, you all believe things are getting hot. They can see the Flambeau flame shining brighter. But you see me, my job is to put more stick in the fire. And if you think things are getting hot, things are only warm, you know what? I'm going to hot up the place right now. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in bringing to this podium Moko introduce person. Ladies and gentlemen, you know the thing. I will bring you Tipima, the man that they cannot stand, but the man who is a thorn in the side. And they can't stop that guy. Guy Joseph will address you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Good night to everyone. Good night to our Flambeau audience in the hall. And pleasant good night to all St. Lucians throughout the length and breadth of this country and those in the diaspora. I want to let you know Flambeau means business. And I have to compliment the chairman and his team for going on the ground today. Ek mwetan Jis Virginia yon ta canvas. Ek mwende kai vote by Flambeau. Now, let me tell you something. This is serious business that we are on tonight. Now, how many times have Labour postponed the match that they announced? Huh? How many times? 3 times. How long have they been in government? Now what is the match called? The match of progress. So for 3 years and 3 times they have postponed the progress and development of St. Lucia. Because how could you postpone a match for progress? The only reason why you would postpone a match for progress is because you have postponed progress. So vle fè progrès about Labour Party, but Labour Party même ha postpone progress. Ek yo ha postpone ni même otata yo ha gouvernement. Now, here's another one. You know, you ever hear anything like that? So you put an alarm at your home. The alarm sounds, makes all the noise. But the thief comes and the thief steals the things in the house and go because you didn't listen to the alarm. Who you blaming for the thief? You blaming the alarm or you blaming the thief? Now you must be wondering, what am I saying here? Labour Party is blaming the alarm rather than blaming the volley. We sound the alarm about CIP. We told you we would lose our corresponding banking. Kisa Labour Party ka do? C'est Alan Chastanet qui vle perd corresponding banking. So how can you blame the alarm and not the thief? Who is stealing? Where is Galaxy with our money? Who gave Galaxy the license to take our money? So, I want you to understand how much Labour Party insults the intelligence of the people of St. Lucia. Now, they cannot insult the intelligence of Flambeaus. Because every right-thinking St. Lucian supports the United Workers' Party. I mean, you heard Shelton. What did Shelton say? You want me to be objective? Now, a man who is being paid to be on a radio station to speak, and the man tell you he has no objectivity. He does not know what it is to be objective. And then he tell you if Labour Party is a disease, he is incurable. It's not if Labour Party is a disease. Labour Party is a disease. Every time Labour is in office, St. Lucia suffers. What causes people to suffer? Palona disease. Launa malad. Labour Party sa maladi. That is why St. Lucians suffer. And I'm always puzzled as to why did we elect the St. Lucia Labour Party into office. And that is for St. Lucians. Why? Because I want us to understand, if the country, now listen to this, Richard Frederick said, Castries Central is now the safest seat for Labour. So Richard and the Labour Party is aware that the handwriting is on the wall in Viewfort North, Viewfort South, and Labrie. Richard Kidi. Now let me tell you, Richard has a program every Thursday night where he comes and echoes the sentiments of the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. Richard is a minister in the Prime Minister's office. So tous les jeux di Lautan Richard Kapalo, sav sa ikadu, Commission Philippe J. Pierre ni pou voe by Saint-Lucien et qui passe à voe yi même, so il a servi Richard pou voe. Now Philippe Saint tell me, the man is sitting there. Right there, Richard walks in, KDA, Kenny Davis Anthony. If you did not know, his other name is Davis. So that's why they call him KDA. Kenny Davis Anthony. The next one, he says, Philip, my boy. Now we may tell the Philip Mosozoe. Because Philip Sampatan. Because Philip now in an interview says, if Richard said that. Are you understanding what I'm saying here? Eh? You are right there. The man walking. Okay? He said his thing in your presence. He acknowledged you. And you saying, if he said it, you will reprimand him. So say Philip Mosso Zoe, you hear? Because si una hol Zoe, la pan pièce manye ou patan sa Richard dia. Now listen to me. I'm not a comedian, you know. Philip is a comedian. I am talking factual information. I did not make it up. I saw Philip talking to the reporter as if he was not there. He did not hear. So si Philip patela, then say bolomli Richard Tekuye, Philip my boy. Because I told you, the Labour Party, they're losing their mind. Joachim dise pali kita l'église là. Are you understanding what is happening here in our beautiful country? Now, I want the people of St. Lucia to know a couple of things. I know that Alan Chastanet is better than Philip J. Pierre, whether in opposition or in government. I know that. But when Philip J. Pierre himself can acknowledge that Alan Chastanet is more powerful than him as opposition leader than Philip J. Pierre as prime minister. Now you may want to ask me, Guy, what you talking about? What did Philip say? He said that Alan Chastanet can cause us to lose our corresponding banking relationship. How can the leader of the opposition be more powerful than the Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre? I want you to take time and listen to these fellas when they speak and interpret correctly what they are telling you. You know, they tell us something about reading between the lines. Well, that is reading between the lines. Because how can you tell your people the same things we have been saying? Your child at school, you will not be able to transfer money to them. We told you that if that thing continues with CIP as it is, you will not be able to buy from Shein and Amazon. You will not be able to buy things online. Y'all not listening to us. So all of a sudden, Philip J. Pierre realized something is coming down the pipeline. So who does he want to blame? Now, if Alan can cause us to lose our corresponding banking in opposition, he can reinstate it in government overnight. So Philip, you don't know what to do. Fele by nom kisako duya pay, puko dui pay. When you can do something, you can do make our side. Ek by mun kisa handle by bu handle. Now I know I have a political leader who can manage the affairs of St. Lucia. And every international institution respects and regards Alan Michael Chastanet. So Philip, I know you have limitations, but I did not realize your limitations was so much. Now the Labour Party seem to forget when they want to blame UWP. Who said they were going to write to investors to tell them not to invest in St. Lucia? Because you have a top modesty. So, when Alan Chastanet was Prime Minister, there was a talk briefly about corresponding banking. And that had nothing to do with what we had done in government. Because that happened very early in the term. That had everything to do with how Labour had managed the affairs. You remember St. Lucia was blacklisted? Who worked to remove St. Lucia on the blacklist? The Prime Minister, Alan Michael Chastanet. When there was that move in America, not in the Caribbean, who went to the US, called the airlines, JetBlue, called the cruise ships, everybody who was doing business with St. Lucia, and got them to realize if St. Lucia lose its corresponding banking, or the region was to lose its corresponding banking, not St. Lucia, because it was a regional issue, that JetBlue would go bankrupt in a week. The wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding of Alan Chastanet of international affairs knew the right people to call. And within days, a letter was dispatched to DC, and that was reversed. Y'all, am I hadi hot? Nebat mun safe Prime Minister St. Lucie usab. Is when you go in the international arena, you know whether you have a real Prime Minister or whether you have a fake Prime Minister. When you go and face the World Bank, when you go and face the IMF. Now, Philip, why Lord yes easy to see justice was done? Not that you said, le volé un Range Rover qui l'a meublé porté plate côte qui te register un non High Commission na l'Angleterre. Mete ya container. Ebe direct se muna gite ka travaya a High Commissioner. Me ya container ek mene de San Saint Lucie. Ek leive Saint Lucie. Machine na iva and I saw Chico there. And we knew that the entry has not been perfected up to now. And as long as your entry is not perfect, it is not closed. Wailodias Philip J. Pierre, ek udi koha, you went there to see that justice was done. Now St. Lucians want justice. Depuis Joa Martinez ke eviteu, vini Washington DC. Pour qui ça paye Washington? Ou pese ou mouto pa vie? You afraid if you all go up, you all won't come back? Not me, you all said that couldn't go to America. Huh? I going up and down. Why are you afraid, Philip? I mean, St. Lucians, I want us to take time and understand this thing, you know. A man says that I have evidence to show you that your country is in trouble. I didn't file a case against you yet. I didn't do anything. All I'm asking you, come and see if the evidence is valuable. Come and see if what I say I have makes sense. You refuse to go, and today we're going to lose our corresponding banking. You want to blame Alan Chastanet and the United Workers' Party? I want St. Lucians to understand what I am saying. Because you all paying passage, you all going to Dubai. You're all going to Algeria. You're all traveling all over the world. How much does it take to take 2 days to go to Washington, D.C.? See the evidence. Listen to it and tell Martinez, Beti Zukapalila. Upan pièce evidence a Saint Lucie. My pet tamwe ek pale bawako. That's too much for you to do to protect the integrity and the good name of St. Lucia. And then you want to say, if Martinez invite me, I go in, you know. Because I want to see what is there. Now, you take kwese Alan yon ki pahatras king. A snake is always a snake. A scorpion is always a scorpion. You know the story about the scorpion and the frog? When the scorpion had to cross the river, and the scorpion said, the scorpion asked the frog for a ride across. And the frog said, boy, I don't trust you. If I give you a ride across, you will sting me. The scorpion said, boy, I won't sting you because if I sting you, both of us will die anyway. So the frog took the chance. Midway, what did the scorpion do? And what did it say to the frog? That's my nature. A snake is always a snake. So you take where say only Dimashos we are later su program like Alan ek di tout bay bon ek lendi swing. But he was supposed to swing since the no confidence motion. Because Shoan said in the parliament, that's not what you told us. So he was speaking to Labour since then. Today Labour is learning through the back door that he's speaking to Martinez. Kisa Stevenson King, Kadi Martinez. You see the trouble we are in this country? We have a set of men running this country and no one trusts the other. So the CEO goes by himself with his wife. I hele by Martinez pour buy t-shirts. Today we are here, Stevenson King has been speaking to Martinez. Now, is Stevenson King speaking because he doesn't know where the money is, or is he speaking because he knows where the money is? You see, I will not try to answer that question. Philip, when you go to cabinet with Steve tomorrow, ask him, why was he speaking to Martinez? Because you see, we have to come to terms that our country is in trouble, not just because of international pressure, but because of bad governance. They want to say just Aubertin about Ukraine war. Aubertin about this, Aubertin about that. You know who is to blame? The government of St. Lucia. Now you remember secret deals. What did Emma say? She had a secret meeting. And up to now, we don't know what was discussed at that secret meeting. Now, I want to tell you something. I want to place it on the record. Alan Chastanet, as leader of the opposition, can do nothing to make us lose our corresponding banking. Alan Chastanet, as leader of the opposition, can do nothing to make us keep our corresponding banking in place. But Alan Chastanet, as Prime Minister of St. Lucia, can do everything to re-establish our corresponding banking if Labour causes us to lose it. But we will lose years. Metan Philip J. Pierre Cadi, you may US dollars abo plane pour I pay debt St. Lucie. And that happened in a Caribbean island for true. We know it. But I want you to understand, we have sounded the alarm. The Chamber of Commerce, the Bar Association, the Medical and Dental Association, the Farmers Organization, the churches, all civil society groups. Hot kakase bwanzoi hot. Hot kafe akodi hot patan sa because se Flambeau kadi. But tato, when the damage is done, ek yo kay private jet, ek se saki hanila upatan ko Martinez di sav ko laha ye. So leyon laha yo ek yo ay estowe ko yo ada plus. Ek yo dispawet. What will happen to you and your children in this country? That is what you have to ask yourself as a right-thinking St. Lucian. You remember when the French put a notice out warning the French people about their safety in St. Lucia. Who did he try to blame for it? He said it was Alan Chastanet. According to Invader, everything is Alan do this, Alan do that. But I know Alan did this and Alan did that. But that was for the progress and development of St. Lucia. Everything good in this country was done by Alan Michael Chastanet in his 5 years in government. Now, what did they tell us? They told us they will revoke every illegal citizenship that had been issued by the Alan Chastanet-led government. It is 3 years. You mean you have not found one yet? Which means that Alan has a perfect record when it came to how CIP was handled under the United Workers' Party. Guamundu parti e boyo ek mete pai. Me Saint Lucien ya degree sa. Nou tie boyo ek nou mete pai. Mai du ki mun ki pai la. Now, even the SLP knows that Pierre is not Prime Minister material. You remember what Christopher Hunt said? You remember he said Pierre was just an interim measure for them to win the election, but Pierre is supposed to be replaced because the Labour Party knows that Pierre does not have the capacity and the capability to lead this country. Now, Tana Kuyon Tuyako, a man who is Minister of National Security, who has been elected and paid by the people to protect the people. People dying every day in this country, gun violence, accidents because of bad roads, all kinds of things. And you know what Pierre says? Pierre says, well, y'all need to protect me. You didn't hear him telling the people at the conference, y'all will protect me. Can you imagine? Richard D. come here for me, you clap by sir. The Minister of National Security is saying to the people, y'all need to protect me, rather than he protecting the people. And the people clapping for that. For a country with the fastest running woman in the world to behave that kind of way, Fedee, Mahav. You know, now, if you did not know about the Talvan project, since we're in Babonneau, I implore every one of you. Timothy Mangal had a sit-in with Champagne last week Friday. Go and listen to the recording of that program, and you will understand what has happened. Now, my Richard, I have a whole file of letters there. But because of time, I will not be able to read it. But when I go and meet Champagne, I will read them. That is not the first time the Labour Party has done that. I have the letters where they stopped the River Dore project. When they stopped the River Dore project, you know what it cost St. Lucians? The contractor had not done much work. He sent in his request. The Labour Party stopped the project and refused to pay him. 2 years, they refused to pay him. But even though I cannot go through all the letters, I want to show you when one government makes a bad decision, who pays for it. This is a letter addressed. The lighting is not so good here. So this letter was addressed to the Honorable Guy Joseph, Minister of Economic Development. And it says, Dear Minister Joseph, we continue to act herein on behalf of our client, and I will choose not to mention the client. We write to you in your capacity as minister with responsibility for the NHC. And here's what they say. Our client's claim is for the sum of $6,149,779.38 pursuant to judgment of the High Court dated 25th March 2016 and filed on the 26th of March 2015 and broken down as follows. Principal payment, 4,800,000, just rounding off the figures. Had the interest in the judgment. The interest rate of 6% per year from May, 2nd of May 2012 to 31st of August 2016, 1,538 days at $805.21 per day. You know who issued that contract? Richard Frederick. Under the Stevenson King-led UWP administration. And I have the letters in my possession where the NHC had written to the contractor terminating his contract. And I have the letter where the engineer said in the meeting, the contractor called the minister to overrule the decision of the NHC board and tell the man to continue with the project. And you know what that project cost us? The Alan Chastanet-led administration was faced with a lawsuit from the court to pay the $6 million for land that belonged to us. They put it in an English company. You see, what Labour Party does is nothing new. Labitilio febai koshi. So the same way they stopped the project, and it cost us millions of dollars, the same way they stopped Talvan, and it is costing St. Lucians millions of dollars. You all heard Philip J. Pierre. He said he will pay the money. Now, Mr. Prime Minister, Alan Chastanet, when you become Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre never said he's taking money from the consolidated fund to pay the difference. Philip J. Pierre said, I will pay the difference. I hope it's from his bank account, and I hope it's from his savings. He pays the difference and not from the taxpayers of this country. Because you know very well you gave Richard license. Without your approval, he could not stop the project. So now you say you're not selling the land for the $16. You're going to sell it for $14.50, and if NHC is losing any money, you will pay the difference. You never said was the people of St. Lucia. Now, the people's money is not yours, Philip. Even if you think so, it is not yours. And I want you to understand. Stevenson King said some of us should go to jail. You remember that? And he was referring to the St. Jude project. Now, mahadiyo, madubayak maniyo. Here's what the report on St. Jude says. The only retrievable application to DCA for approval to retain the use of the old St. Jude is dated 22nd April 2016. Stevenson King and Kenny Anthony, the two prime ministers who worked on the old St. Jude project, none of them had sought DCA approval. The approval they requested was in 2016. The project started in 2010. in April of 2016, when the UWP was campaigning and saying there's no DCA approval, Yoku Ivo by DCA. And I have the documents to show you that DCA rejected it because it never met the requirements. Now, I have the contract for the site preparation that Stevenson King spoke about. When he said people should go to jail. I will read one paragraph to you. Whereas the employer desires the works known as the site preparation works at the site for the St. Jude Hospital reconstruction project, hereafter called the works, should be executed by the contractor and has accepted the bill by the contractor, the bid, not the bill. Là yo do nou pa bidan yen, nou pa fan yen. Has accepted the bid by the contractor for the execution and completion of the works and the redemnifying of any defects therein for the contract price of $7,784,126.96. So when Stevenson King came and told you all the lies about the United Workers' Party when he jumped ship and went over to the Labour Party, some people in St. Lucia believed him. Why up to today they come in and check Guy Joseph? Where is the special prosecutor? Because when plea document pour mener special prosecutor lodias, passe prosecutor sa mene mwen lodias. But I'm waiting for them. I'm waiting. Because it is time St. Lucia understand. You are given a 6 for a 9 by the Labour Party. You are fooled. A lot of us, including Flambeaus, some of my cabinet colleagues believe what Labour Party was saying, even though they sat together with us. But I always tell them, I want any one of them to stand the scrutiny that Guy Joseph has stood. I also have the cabinet conclusion in my possession. When the Lindquist Commission of Inquiry was commissioned in 2012. And I have the report. And the report has more about Stevenson King and Tony Leo than it has about Guy Joseph. And it has Alison Jacques. Try pretend that I do right on top. C'est pas bon moi contracteur te gen furniture. Et quand toujours vle porter le plainte contre moun, bring me to court. Let me come with the evidence. Because you see, labor rights believe that Guy Joseph is an easy target. Wrong tree. Wrong tree. Because I want you all to understand, if there's one thing I pride myself on, is my integrity. And Labour Party can search Pierre recommission Lindquist. It's 2 years. They're paying Lindquist. And I have a letter there how much they were paying Peter Foster. $1,083 per hour to defend the case for NHC. And we still lost the case in court. And the Alan Chastanet government. Labour Party qui prend pour faire avocat ou savent. Yo pet case là. Après yo te pay main lawyer 1,000 plus. Assistantly 800. Ex assistant la qui a bas assistant la 300 per hour. You see, we warned, we encouraged, we told you Philip could not run the country, but you didn't believe us. I want us to know, people, we are not in trouble by accident. We are in trouble because we chose the wrong set of people to run this country. That's why I told the special prosecutor, brother man, come and check me. I will put you on the right track. Now I'm coming to Mr. Reno Gajada. You see, John Peters thinks he's so bright and he's so smart. When Reno wanted to price the project on the old St. Jude, who he called for advice? Guy Joseph. You see in this country, because you don't go and say everything you know, people feel they can walk over you and they can say what they want and they can get away with it. But I tell them, I can deal with this. Now Reno, nu tule deni mem shivea, so bahas mat pase mo. So I want you to understand, when you come and make big noise, you looking for 300 workers. Utehani plow. Plente haswe potlapa we pukite. Now, I don't know if it's rumor or if it's true. So I'm holding back on the 300 workers I heard that came in. But I know that there are 100 plus Indian workers at St. Jude. So, you said 200 years ago people used to come to St. Lucia and work and help build St. Lucia. Under the United Workers' Party, under Alan Chastanet and Guy Joseph, as Minister of Economic Development, Alan was Minister of Finance. We executed $83 million of projects on the DVRP. 113 projects, and every single project went out to tender. And St. Lucian contractors got all 113 projects. $83 million worth of projects executed by St. Lucians. So, Mr. Reno, you said on Team's program, you got more work under the Alan Chastanet administration than you will ever get under Labour. Why you did not have to import one worker under Alan Chastanet? So now you have less work. Is now you bring in more workers? So how when Alan Chastanet was Prime Minister, there were enough workers in St. Lucia for Reno to get workers, for Fresh Start to get workers, for Nationwide, for Skelly, for Jameson, you name, CPAL, name all the major contractors. There was no shortage of workers in St. Lucia. Can you imagine an ling yon budron shime nga pase ki jousa? Bokoutan moun ka draw ling an tou. I know everywhere in the world, you repair the road and then you draw the lines. You put the markings. Isn't that how it is? The road have holes and they draw it lines. You know, the snake know how to do things, you know. Monsieur so simple. She may need to a quadrilinga, did I? I mean, you have to ask yourself. So, St. Lucians, there are many unemployed young men in this country. There are many laborers, carpenters, masons who want a day's work. But they want a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. And Reno, if you're not getting workers, it's because you're not paying. And now my problem is not with Reno. Who gave these people that came in work permits? Now I know the procedure for getting work permits. You have to advertise in the newspaper, 2 consecutive newspapers. My brother and I used to run a machine shop, so I know. And machinist was very limited in St. Lucia at that time. So you know what? Before you could train people, you needed to keep the workshop going. So you put advertisements in the newspaper, nobody qualifies for the job, then you're entitled to get a work permit. They do have laborers in this country. They do have masons and carpenters. What work is Reno doing at St. Jude that he cannot find local workers to do? When all the work Fresh Start did down there was done by local workers, especially from the south. So, Philip J. Pierre is in a conspiracy with Reno. How is Reno getting all the contracts and he getting workers? So the exploitation of the workers of this country is facilitated by the office of the Prime Minister. There's only one way of correcting that. You have to bring back the United Workers' Party to fix this country. And I will tell you, there's only one time that the cost of living will go down, is when you return Alan Chastanet as Prime Minister of this country. There's nothing that Philip J. Pierre will do to make life easier for you. So my people of St. Lucia, Flambeau, I know you're going to go out and vote your party. But we need every St. Lucian from all walks of life to send one message to Labour Party. When a mother cannot feed her children because the cost of living is too high, because $1 can no longer buy 4 loaves, but 2. It means that we part tout moun coupe aba Labour. You want to eat well? You want to do well? You want to be progressive? There's only one solution to this. We will return the United Workers' Party. I thank you and good night.
Thank you very much, guy. You heard the guy. But he hadn't seen men na the special prosecutor go buhen guy still boy check. Ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing the truth to you. And we are exposing the St. Lucia Labour Party for what they are. Now the St. Lucia Labour Party has nothing to lay claim to that is good in St. Lucia. And so I heard them at the last meeting make a claim. They said that Darren Sammy is a product of the SLP. They also said that Julian Alfred is a product of the SLP. Now that is how shameless these people are. And everything has to be politicized as far as they are concerned. Well, let me just correct the St. Lucia Labour Party. Darren Sammy and Julian Alfred and Arthur Lewis and Derek Walcott and Rick Wynn are all products of St. Lucia. Let me tell you what is the product of the SLB. Everything that was described on that letter by the president of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association was the product of the SLB. We had 2 consecutive years of record-breaking statistics in homicides where we had the most people killed in St. Lucia, and already for this year, you are 52 and counting. That is the product of the SLB. The high cost of living that you're experiencing, where when the United Workers' Party was in office, when a barrel of oil was $80, you paid $13.95 for 1 gallon at the pump. Today, you are paying $16.50. At one point, you paid more than $17. That is the product of the SLP. Now, Philippe anticipates what's coming. He said the next thing we're going to talk about is the police force. Because the next disaster he is going to engineer is in the police force. And so what is happening in the police force today also has implications for the crime situation in the country today. And that is a product of the St. Lucia Labour Party. And as if cost of living wasn't high enough and things weren't bad enough by you, they put a 2.5% levy on you to make things more expensive. That is a product of the St. Lucia Labour Party. But we have short memories in this country. We have short memories in this country. The Talvon project, where you would have paid about $9 a square foot for your land. And somebody said earlier, Virginia said, it was $3 or $4. It was $3 or $4 or a little more. It was $3 or $4 a little more than what UWP would have charged. And let me just say to you, the good things that were happening, like the management of COVID, that was the product of the UWP. The low cost in the price of fuel that we subsidized to ensure that you didn't pay too much at the pump, that is a product of the UWP. If you had voted for the UWP in the last election and elected us back into office, you would have had health insurance to the tune of $75,000. That is a product of the UWP. If you are brought back, and when you bring back the UWP, you will have each of your children going to school having an e-book, okay, which is like a tablet. Downloaded on it will be textbooks that the government will pay the license for, so you will not have to buy textbooks for your children. That is a product of the UWP. Even in hard times when our economy was shut down, the United Workers' Party increased the paupers list by more than 1,000 people. That is a product of the United Workers' Party. And instead of imposing taxes on you to make things more expensive in this country, the United Workers' Party, instead of putting 2.5 levy on you, removed 2.5 VAT on you. That is the product of the United Workers' Party. And after COVID, when everyone was struggling to resuscitate the economy, in the entire Caribbean, St. Lucia was number 2. Second only to Guyana. Second only to Guyana. And I want to remind you why Guyana was number 1. Guyana had just discovered oil. And I want to tell you why St. Lucia was number 2, because Alan Chastanet is a product of the United Workers' Party. And we all are products of St. Lucia. And we all love St. Lucia. We all are patriotic St. Lucians, and we all want the best for St. Lucia. So we all will go to the polls, get rid of Labour, and return the United Workers' Party under Alan Michael Chastanet as your Prime Minister. So ladies and gentlemen, let's rally together. Let's get on with the rescue mission. Let's bring all our good products together to give St. Lucia good governance once again. I assure you, as a member who was once a part of the cabinet, we performed creditably, we did outstandingly. You were fooled into thinking you'd get better, but we got worse. The time has come to put St. Lucia back on track. We have done some house cleaning. We have done some improvements. I am telling you, as an insider, you will have the best cabinet that you have ever seen in this country, under the best Prime Minister that you have in this country. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you the captain of that team, a product of the United Workers' Party, to come to address you. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to the podium Alan Michael Chastanet, the next Prime Minister of St. Lucia, who will bring back prosperity and development to this country.
Mumbai St. Lucie. Now, I know I can ask you, est-ce pawe? But I also want to ask the rest of St. Lucia, are you ready? Have you seen enough of this papi show government that we have? So before I begin my presentation tonight, I want to really say that I want to tell Julian Alfred that all of us are proud of her achievements. That she's brought tremendous pride to St. Lucia. I noticed that her Facebook site, before the Olympics, she had 5,000 likes. Today she has over 100,000 likes. I want to tell her, and I want to tell her mother and her family that we're so grateful that she was a great mother under very difficult times. But she gave her daughter love and support. And from all of us in St. Lucia, we want to say thank you for what you did. I want to say thank you to all the coaches that Julian has had along the way, from St. Lucia to Jamaica, all the way to Texas. So I want to say to them, thank you for what you did for Julian Alfred. And I want to say this. It should not be lost on Julian that she comes from a country, St. Lucia, of which only 2 countries in the world have been named after a woman. And I think it's incredibly appropriate that the first person to win a gold medal at the Olympics for St. Lucia is a woman. I also want to say to her that with no doubt that she is going to be an inspiration for a lot of St. Lucians, but I think she's going to be an inspiration for a lot of young women here in St. Lucia. And she is going to be an inspiration for a lot of women around the world. So I want to say to the world that if you believe that Julian Alfred is going to inspire you, that I want you to come to St. Lucia and let St. Lucia also inspire you. Now, tonight, many of the speakers have spoken about the hypocrisy of the Labour Party. And sometimes I'm very cautious on how I criticize people and events. But you see this nonsense that is going on with the Labour Party about Julian Alfred and Darren Sammy being products of Labour Party. I must call that out now. If the United Workers' Party was in government, and there's a video to prove what I'm going to say. When I met her and she was still in high school, I said that this young lady is going to win a medal in the Olympics. So that means that I believed in her back then. So it means that when she would have gone to the Olympics this time, I would have made sure that Dominic Fedee would have signed a contract to make her the face of the St. Lucia Tourism Authority's marketing initiative. And that she would have been paid enough money to do that. That she would not have to depend on any government to give her a piece of land or a home. That she would have had money to do it for herself. But you see, the Labour Party didn't believe that she was going to win. They didn't sign her to anything. If United Workers' Party was in government, we would have signed her to that contract. We would have had her promoting, and when she now won the following day, we would have had a TV ad outside of Julian Alfred promoting herself, her success, but more importantly, promoting St. Lucia. And that we would have taken advantage of the number of people that were celebrating Julian. And instead of the number being 100,000, we would have made sure the number was more like 1 million. You don't speak about supporting St. Lucians after the fact. The support is what you do before. And that is why her mother and her family and the coaches, and most importantly, the person that believed in Julian the most was Julian. She herself was the person who believed in herself. She's the only one who knows the sacrifices that she had to make. She's the only one who knows how much training she had to put in. She's the only one who knows what it took to leave home to be able to fulfill her dream. And you want today to come and say that she's a product of the Labour Party? You all can say it in Creole. I'll say it in English. Shame on you. Again, I want to speak about the hypocrisy of the Labour Party. Labour Party won the election 13 seats, a clear majority. Before the elections, they told you they had no relationship with Stephenson King, and they had no relationship with Richard Frederick. They were running, Richard was running independent, Steve was running Patriot, Blue Party. Okay? The couple of times they slipped up, and we could all see for ourselves, but still we met people who denied the fact that there was a copula that was taking, a coplo that was taking place. Yes? A thing was taking place. So Labour Party wins with 13 seats. There was no reason for the Labour Party to bring Richard Frederick into their cabinet. Because remember, Philip Pierce said that if he ever had a minister that was accused of being corrupt as much as Guy Joseph was accused of being corrupt. He would never put him in his cabinet, and if he was like that, he would put him out. Of course he lied. That's what he said. But which politician in St. Lucia has a worse relationship than Richard Frederick? Even when he was coming into United Workers' Party in 2016, it was Sir John who said, y'all want him. Sir John did not want Richard Frederick in his cabinet. Afterwards, we read in WikiLeaks where the U.S. ambassador said, do St. Lucians know what they have done? That they have elected a man who is involved in money laundering and drug trafficking. You want to talk about a man with a reputation? This is the same man who went in front of a court and the judge said he was a liar and convicted him. And this is the man that the Prime Minister decided to bring into his cabinet? It's not like he did not know. And it was worse yet, after he brought him in his cabinet, he put him in his ministry. And as Guy Joseph has said, he has become the spokesperson for the Prime Minister. All the things the Prime Minister doesn't want to say, but he wants to say. He says it through Richard Frederick. Remember, he won 13 seats. He accused Stevenson King of being a messenger. They chastised him the same way the same Labour Party chastised Richard Frederick. Who criticized Richard Frederick more than the Labour Party? Who criticized Stevenson King more than the Labour Party? But listen to what happened. Not only did he bring him into his cabinet, he made him a senior minister. Gave him infrastructure and ports. So what does that mean? That means that Philip here had more confidence in the messenger to be a senior minister than Alva, than Shoan, than Musa. He gave Stevenson King a bigger ministry than all of them. Well, even more than Kenny. And so who is responsible? What is going on that a person would do that? Huh? Some people like to hear what they like to hear. And there's a saying in politics, my enemy's enemy is my best friend. Their hatred for Alan Chastanet, to get him out at any expense. Their hatred for Guy Joseph, and to get him out. And even after the elections, don't forget, Stevenson King and Richard Frederick, who were independent and were going to be part of Labour's cabinet, tried to prevent me from becoming the leader of the opposition. So when they want to attack Alan Chastanet and to attack Guy Joseph, because those are two people that they know are not scared of them and are going to call them out for what they are. And I am proud of the fact that when I was taking over the leadership of this party, that I had the courage to look Richard Frederick in the eye and tell him, if you cannot explain all the allegations against you, you cannot be on the platform of United Workers' Party. So, understanding this relationship, I want to show you how deep and how devious and how dangerous this relationship is. And it's when we understand what has taken place at the Bonan's land. So, the minutes of the meeting of housing show that the land was sold to Reno Gajada. That's what the minutes of the meeting say. And the minutes also say that there was an offer letter from Gordon and Gordon on behalf of Reno Gajada. But when you read the letter says the offer is from a company called Smilebit. But when you go down to the land registry, the land is registered in the name of Gifter Eugene. You see the tangled webs we weave? So which one is it? Is it Renault? Is it Smilebit? Is it Gifter Eugene? Now, a letter was written to SLASPA in February of 2022, offering the land to SLASPA. Stevenson King and Darren Snack, who is the CEO, wrote an affidavit, gave a statement to the courts to say that when they received the letter, they did not want to buy the land at Bonan's. And the reason why they did not respond is because they did not want to buy the land. That's in February of 2022. So now imagine in October of 2022, when the housing board met, the housing board's minutes say SLASPA was interested in buying the land and asked the secretariat to send another letter to SLASPA offering them the land. Stevenson King and Darren Snack said that the reason why they didn't want to buy a land is because of a study that was done by a company called Ballas Needham. But when they sent that letter to my lawyers, they did not know that there was other letters attached to the email. So you know when you write an email several times, it creates a trail. So in one of the letters in that trail, Darren Snack says to Stevenson King, "Minister, please note that the SLASPA Council in October of 2022 had approved borrowing money from the Economic Fund to purchase the land." That's the same land that they said they were not interested in. But you see, because of the friendship thing, that they have now found themselves in a mess where not only have they committed an act of fraud, in my mind, but also Stevenson King and Darren Snack now have perjured themselves because they gave a false statement to the courts. But that's the kind of people that we are dealing with. After they have now done what they did, where you sold a piece of land, no tender, for $2.7 million, land that is worth over $50 million and should never be sold, you sell it. And now after you were caught, you have to try to cover yourselves up. But they always say, when you say one lie, you must say 1,000 more. So don't let Richard Frederick Stevenson King, and Philip Pear fool you. They're all one of the same, and they all have one thing in common. They hate Alan Chastanet. I wish they could take 1% of the energy that they apply to hating me to put the people of this country first and to put the country first. That's what I hope. Because if they did that, we would be sailing through things. But that's not their intention. Now, over the last week or so, as you know, there was a young boy, Mello, that was killed, shot in my constituency. I'm not going to cry. And the thing about this situation, it really has exposed a bigger problem that we have in St. Lucia. Because it's not only Mello's family that has been traumatized. So all of you can imagine what his family went through. Door broken down. You're hiding in a room. You don't know what's happening. You hear gunshots. You come out and you see that your son has been killed. No counseling was offered to them. None. But what I want to say to us is that no counseling was offered to the community. Who goes out to the community and find out how they feel about the situation? What about all the other mothers with their children in that area? Who's speaking to them? You think that they're not being affected? You think that parents and even young kids don't close their eyes for a moment and think and say, what if that was me? But there's also another part. The fire service and the ambulance drivers that over the last 2.5 years have had to go and pick up almost 200 dead bodies. And people who were shot in the most vile and disrespectful, not that there's a respectful way to kill anybody, but when you're talking about people with multiple gunshot wounds, shots to the head, stabbed, and they have to go and pick up all those bodies. The number of car accidents of where they've seen innocent people and their body is mangled. You think that they can do that easily? You think that they're heartless? You think that they don't have a conscience? They are traumatized. The police officers who go there, they themselves now have become traumatized. We are living in a country in which people are suffering. People are suffering. And to make matters worse is not even to say that a minister of government can come out and say a word. Far less a minister of government to go to those people and hug them and to empathize with them and have any sense of emergency. What about the nurses? What about them? Are seeing young people, young boys, literally every week coming in. You don't think they're going to lose faith in mankind? They're not going to lose faith in St. Lucia and ask themselves, what is going on? The Medical and Dental Association said it. The amount of time that's being used to address this unprecedented number of catastrophes that are taking place in our country. And what's our government doing? They cannot even say the word. They just let it be a press statement. They have decommissioned our commissioner to the point that even the police who used to come out and give you some kind of report, nothing. They too are traumatized. So this country is in serious need of help. And I don't see that this government even cares. So when now we have a prime minister that would want to go and try to make excuses. On Friday, the prime minister said the healthcare sector is okay. He said he's going to meet with the doctors and he's going to solve the problem. But on Saturday night, he's telling everybody it is Alan Chastanet's fault. That is the United Workers' Party that did not want to build the fifth finger at OKEU. Now, my people, this is the same government that could not open up OKEU. This is the same government that lied to the people of St. Lucia and went and had a naming ceremony for OKEU. Not true? And after they finished the naming ceremony, they shut the hospital down. This is the same people now who want to come and tell you that when they came into government, that OKEU was not functioning. OKEU, Mr. Prime Minister, had been functioning since 2020. And was functioning under the most stressful period because of COVID. And when you went, you got water. When you went, you got Panadol. When you went, you got medicine. When a woman went, she got her sanitary napkins. And most importantly, they got staff that were motivated to be able to help St. Lucians. You've been in government for 3 years. You want to come and tell people today that the problems at OKEU is because of United Workers' Party? As they say in America, come on, man. Y'all made all kind of promises. If I'm not mistaken, he said he was going to be the most readied prime minister in the history of St. Lucia. Well, if he was ready and he was in the Olympics, he would still be in the waiting room. You want to tell the people of St. Lucia you care about healthcare? You went and convinced everybody that all you needed was some chemical and some paint to move into the old building. Remember? And United Workers' Party was bluffing everybody. We wanted to go and spend money because we wanted to put a box. I'm going to say it softly. It has been 3 years. I don't know how much more chemical and how much more paint you need to open up St. Jude's. But you are lying so much that you don't even know anymore that you are lying. You don't know. They don't know. Because how can he get up and justify now wanting to spend $265 million to fix up the old hospital. How? You said it was going to be $30 million and some chemical and paint. Your own people told you if you moved into the box, you could have had the box finished. I didn't agree with them, but let's give it to them. They said 18 months and $60 million, and you'd already be in it. It's 3 years. And what's the price that we're paying? The price that we're paying is that the staff and the people of the South are suffering from healthcare fatigue. And how do I know that they've reached the bottom of hope? Is because dogs and goats now go through the hospital and nobody cares. Because nobody's taking pride anymore. They have given up. As I said to you, our friend who went there with a problem with his throat. And when it came time for them to give him some pills, they did not have water to give him to take the pills. He had to go and get to his car and get somebody to bring a bottle of water for him. I mean, having to bring your own sheets and your own soap and everything else now has become commonplace. We're now accepting that standard. And to make matters, well, I can't even to say worse, but to add to the problems, is that you've given a contract. Well, no, that's not true. You've allowed a contractor to go and work at the hospital, no contract. Nobody knows what they're doing, because remember, everything with the Labour Party is a secret. So they're working in secret. We don't know how much money they've spent. But we know that they have over 300 foreign workers that are working for Reno Gajada. And I hear it's over 100 of them that are at the St. Jude's property. So now we are in the right place to ask the right question. Because the representative of Babonneau is also the Minister of Labor. And if I'm also know her history, she is a person that protects workers. That's what she prides herself on. Yes? So I want to know, have you given Reno Gajada, very simple question, 300 work permits to bring foreigners in here to do the work that St. Lucians can do? I want to know that question. If you really believe in the workers of St. Lucia and you have their best interest, you need to explain to us, if you give them the work permits, why? And if you did not give it to them, then why are they still here? And now that we have the minimum wage, does the minimum wage apply to those workers? And if it applies to those workers, then why would we have those workers here? And I have a solution to the problem. Because you know what? I don't always like to complain about something. I like to have a solution. So the solution to the problem is Reno Gajada said that he got the contract to do work in the Grenadines. And he needs 300 workers. And he wants St. Lucians to apply to go and work in the Grenadines. So I have a better idea. Take the 300 foreign workers you have here, bring them to St. Vincent in the Grenadines, and give the St. Lucians the jobs to do the work in St. Lucia. Don't come and pappy show the people in this country and act there like you care. Oh, I'm Mr. Leader of the Opposition. If you want, I have 300 jobs in the Grenadines. Send me the names. Well, I'm sending you the names. The 300 foreigners you have, take them all out of St. Lucia. Take them all out and give those jobs to St. Lucians. So, when I went around and I started speaking to some people, people weren't understanding why United Workers' Party was making a big issue of what took place with the $80 million with NLA and how the money was spent. Again, all of the young people in this country should be outraged that $800,000 a month that should be going to scholarships and helping young people in sports is going to go to pay a loan for the next 15 years. $800,000 a month for 15 years. And I don't know where that money has gone. So when you said you spent $80 million on the young people, let's make a comparison. United Workers' Party spent $33 million. I can come and show you the playing field in Deriso of the Lights. I can show you the playing field in Miku. I can come and show you the world-class sporting facility in Denry. I can take you to Soufriere and show you a proper football field with a proper track and proper lights. I can take you now to Gros Islet to see the sports academy. And I can show you plans for Marceline Grounds, Marcia, Cul-de-sac, and a whole bunch of other locations. What can you show us for your $80 million? Why are you asking the young people to sacrifice $800,000 a month that should be allocated to them? Why? When we bring up what's going on with the halls of justice, when we bring up what's going on with CIP, why should you care? You should care because it's mismanagement of the state resources. And the state of your health care is because they are mismanaging the money. It's simple. The state of your roads is because they are mismanaging the money. You take a man who you said was a messenger, you bring him into your cabinet as a senior minister, and he can't finish a roundabout. If I remember right, let me see. Oh yes, it was the rain. But pretty soon you're going to hear it was United Workers' Party's fault. United Workers' Party is the one who did the contract. So whenever things don't go well, it was United Workers' Party who did the contract. But anything that goes great, right, like they tried to do down in Choiseul with the water facility, but Bradley was there to remind them who got that project off the ground. Projects all over St. Lucia, my constituency, Blasha, a beautiful community center. It's been finished for almost a year and a half. Not open. Why? Because they don't want to give United Workers' Party credit. Because they want to protect the victory instead of allowing the people in the community to enjoy the benefit. These projects and the corruption that is taking place, I want to say to all of you, is affecting your cost of living. It's affecting your standard of living. It's affecting your quality of life. And to make matters worse, the healthcare system is so bad that you are now having to find money from your pocket to pay for things. You think the government cares? No. They said, no. We're going to reduce the quality of the healthcare, and we're going to reduce the amount of ching you have in your pocket. So what did they do? They put a 2.5% tax on. They said it was not going to increase the price of food. The first thing that went up was Kentucky Fried Chicken. It was the first. But maybe if you're accustomed to having $5 to fill a hole, you never buy Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't know. I brought a basket to Parliament and showed you all what $100 would buy. We've told you $1 now buys what? 2 loaves of bread. You can't go far on the bus. You can't make as many phone calls. You cannot get the internet. Every day you're having to make sacrifices and you're having to cut something else. And the government is making it worse because they're not providing health care. In fact, they're creating health care where you have to provide it for yourself. Crime has gotten to the point that everybody is scared to leave, so everybody's investing more money to protect their home. Look, a police officer got shot yesterday. A retired police officer. They shot him and took his gun. So you're telling me a trained police officer with a gun was not safe. How are the rest of us going to be safe in this country? How? You don't think that people see that? You don't think that people know what is going on in this country? Dominic spoke about CIP. And I just have to add a couple of things because the Prime Minister made some pretty, again, outrageous claims. Mr. Prime Minister, United Workers' Party warned you 2 years ago, do not put the 2.5% tax on. Decrease the price of gas so that it will not add to inflation in this country. You took the paper we sent you, you ripped it up, and you put it in the trash can. We have been telling you now for over 1 year. Ernest Hilaire is lying to you. Okay? And he has a track record of doing that. But I must know at this point that you know what he knows. And I know what he knows and you know. All of us know. So don't come here now anymore and tell us any excuses. So Hilaire is prone to lying. Badly. Lied about Jafali, lied about Range Rover, and he's lying about CIP now. Okay? When we told you that we were not fear-mongering, we were not trying to scare anybody, the proof was there. In Dominica, the British government took away the visa-free access for Dominicans to go to England. That's a fact. The Irish took away the visa for them to go. That's a fact. The banks now no longer process any of the monies for CIP. That's a fact. The Prime Minister now has rejected 68 passports for people who didn't pay the right price. That's a fact. Okay? So when we tell you the same thing can happen in St. Lucia, don't come and tell us that it is United Workers' Party, by warning you, is trying to take away those things from the people. The only person responsible at this point, if we lose our visa to the Schengen visa, it is your fault. And it's not a matter of if, but when the banks tighten up the financial situation in St. Lucia, it is your fault. Nobody else's. If the health situation is not bad enough in St. Lucia with the quality of health care that we're getting at OKEU and St. Jude's. Even it's not bad enough that he's deprived you of money to pay for your own health care. Now you're going to lose your Schengen visa, which means you cannot even go to Martinique to get health care. What kind of prime minister, what kind of party would do that to its people? And that's true. That's not about scaring anybody. Don't run away from the facts. The facts are that what you and Hilaire are doing now is destroying the reputation of our country. And Mr. Prime Minister, if you don't know, you're Prime Minister. I want you to go and check out the facts. Which law firms are the ones that are processing the applications? And we want to know how many Galaxy applications have been processed by which law firms. That's what we want to know. So when now you have Thaddeus, Arnold, up in Paris, in a booth, and people call them out, and they said, oh no, we're here on our money. So somebody said to them, well, is that the first time that you went to the Olympics? So they posted a picture of Ernest, Thaddeus, and Arnold in 2012 going to the Olympics in England. So I want to ask a question. I believe either taxpayers paid for you to go to Paris, and if it was not the taxpayers, it might have been Galaxy. But I also believe that when you were in England, because at the same time that you were in England, Hilaire was the High Commissioner to England. And instead of inviting people from his constituency, he invited Thaddeus and Arnold. So I want to know, was that taxpayers' money or was that Jufali's money? Whose money? And you want to blame everybody else. So I want to tell Hilaire something. Tomorrow, you're going to go and make a presentation to the Chamber of Commerce. A lunch presentation. Coco Palm is a member of the Chamber. And tomorrow, Alan Chastanet will be representing Coco Palm at the lunch. So you better come. You better come with a straight story. And whatever you say up there, make sure you're telling the people the truth. Come and tell the people, how many families have you approved for their hotel project? Tell the people how many families you approved for the infrastructure program. Tell the people which lawyers are processing the Galaxy files and how much money have they made. And tell us, where's the money? Where's the funds? It's supposed to be an escrow account. Is it there? The money for the infrastructure, you have allowed Galaxy to collect the money themselves. Where's the funds? Where are they going? And I want to put all of us on notice. If the banks decide, and I think that they will very soon, not to allow Galaxy to process any transactions, financial transactions, to St. Lucia, is the government of St. Lucia ready to go and find the money? And again, remember, I'm not giving you a problem without giving you a solution. I would say to you, you need to change your mind. In the next 2 weeks, I'm going to Washington, D.C. I want to go and meet with Martinez's lawyers. And I hope what Dominic and Guy said is not true, and that you're not scared to come up to Washington, D.C. So I'm saying to you, let us go together. And I will pay my own ticket. You don't have to pay my way. To build a $50 million prison.
That when we went to the budget, they said this is the year of what? Anything the Labour Party says, the opposite happens. The year before they said it was going to be the year of what? Health and security. And look at the state we're in now. So where do you think infrastructure is going to be?
What's that?
That is what next year is. And we're not going to give them one chance. We are going to make sure that when they go to the budget next year, that instead of the budget, we're going to have elections, and United Workers' Party will be put back into office. So when Spider spoke about the products of the SLP, I want to add to that. I know that you go and march when there's something that's wrong. I never known that you march when something is right. So what is wrong with the Labour Party is that they have lost their support at the base, and everybody is tired of the lies. Everybody is tired of the secrets, the lies, and the propaganda, and they can't take it on anymore. Even some of their greatest supporters are saying nothing, but in private they say, this government must go. This government must go. If you want to go and march for better health care, I will come and join you. If you want to march, come and march to improve the crime situation in St. Lucia. I will march with you. If you want to march in order to create jobs for the young people in this country, I will join you. And most importantly, if you want to march in order to reduce the income of the price increases in this country, and to make it affordable for people to live a decent life in this country, not only will I march with you, but everybody in the United Workers' Party will march with you. But y'all can't do that. You can't do it because you've been in government for 3 years, and everybody knows secrets, lies, and propaganda. Secrets, lies, and propaganda. And I'm going to end on this note. On the GPH deal, which makes no sense. Okay? It makes no sense. Why would you give away $440 million US, which is over $1 billion EC dollars for nothing. Okay? The company that you gave it to was a public company. So anytime that I wanted to get information on the company, and that's why I was able to say so many things, is because as a public company, they must publish the information. So last week, they put out a press statement to say that they're going to become private. Not my words, you know. I want you to listen carefully. And the reason why they're going to become private is because they have secrets they don't want to reveal. That's the same people that went down to Soufriere and told Emma that there's going to be a secret deal. Okay? Same people. So now not only is our government of secrets, lies, and propaganda, all the people that they are working with are participating and supporting this government in their secrets, lies, and propaganda. So again, I now want to put the people of St. Lucia, but very importantly, I want to put Philip Pierre and his cabal on notice that on July 22nd, all right, Madam Secretary, General Secretary, I believe I'm right, on September 22nd, we are going to have a public meeting in the building. This is not going to be an ordinary public meeting, okay? This is going to be a public meeting and where we're going to make some very big pronouncements. And for all those people who thought the United Workers' Party has been sleeping, if you want to see what United Workers' Party is and how strong we are, come out on September 22nd. Thank you.